There are a lot of brutal stories in the history of espionage. It is in many ways not a pleasant business. But the stories that I find the hardest, the most sad, are the ones that were long-term manipulations that start in deception. And here's what I mean, especially the ones involving love, because I just feel it's like, oh, it's so icky. But here's what I mean. So basic spying tradecraft is you have your like intelligence officers, that's what they're usually called, and they work for a country. And then they go out and they want to recruit, typically call them agents. And agents are the people who are placed either like in industries or organizations that are important or close to people in high places, and they're going to get your information, right? So sometimes people will spy for like, you can just pay them, or they do it for patriotic reasons, but sometimes you have a target and they don't really seem interested in spying. So you kind of look at how you can manipulate them in order to do it. So there's a long history of this. It obviously still happens in some places and sometimes today. And here's a very concrete example of what I'm talking about. So there's this woman, her name was Gabrielle Gash. She was West German. 1968, she goes over to East Germany to study gender roles and the difference between gender roles in East Germany and West Germany. And the Stasi identify her as somebody, because of what she's studying and where she's placed at the university, as somebody who may be important. Now, that's the thing, right? You don't always know that somebody is going to be in a place of importance, and you try to get them early on. So it's like she may be important. So just on the May, they hook her up with this driver, and this driver is like really great, and they have these great conversations, and they go for these like walks in the park, and she can really talk to this guy. And over months, they develop a relationship and they fall in love. So now she's in love with this guy, but it's not super easy to get from West Germany over to East Germany. You need visas and stuff, but this guy knows a guy and they can grease the wheels. And then she gets this kind of fake visa. And then it's like, hey, my friend works in the Stasi, and maybe in order for you to get this fake visa, you could just give him a bit of information. And she's like, yeah, because I love you, so I'm going to do this for you. And originally the Stasi asked for nothing really classified. That's another key element of the tradecraft. You don't immediately come out and be like, get us state secrets. It's like, oh, just get me a list of the people who work at the university. And she's like, okay, I can do that because, I really love this guy. And years go by. And the thing that's crazy is for the guy, for the East German lover, it's just a job. He has a whole life outside of this woman, Gabrielle. Like, she's just work for him. He sees her as often as she can, but it's probably like a few times a year, 6 times a year at most. And on those days, she's in love and she thinks they have this whole relationship, and he's just working. And this goes on for decades because Gabrielle gets a job at BND, West German Intelligence. By the mid-80s, she's the highest placed woman at BND. So she's just got, it's like, it was a total payday for the Stasi. They really picked her well out of the gate. They groomed her for years, trying to get her on their side. And so she thinks she's bringing the two sides of her country together. Now, eventually the love fades. But 4 years, she was in this relationship with somebody who wasn't in a relationship at all. He was just doing his job. This goes on till the wall falls. 1990, she's caught for treason, put on trial. And it's only then that she finds out that it was a deception from the very first visit in 1968, that her driver was chosen specifically and instructed to deceive her and manipulate her into falling in love with him, and they're then spying for East Germany. It is a crazy story. The history of espionage is full of it. Super depressing sometimes to read it. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing great. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any really sad spy stories, please do share them, or anything I can go further research. Yeah, take care. Have a great day.